and they reached so many through it. Such a credit to them through their pain.
Wiley Cox fumbled the football. It's recovered by Dallas. And is that Malik Hooker again? It is! Against his old team again! Touchdown, Dallas!
Jets in rally mode. White floats it upstairs. Nobody home. Garrett Wilson. Perry picked off, and it's over. Intercepted by Bynum. And the Vikings slam the door shut against the Jets.
At the chase. Defenders are there. He gets past them. Oh, it's going to be a close spot.
Oh, my goodness. There's so many things there. One, yes, we see upsets all the time, but that's not going to continue every year.
Last play before the 2-minute warning, and they were able to deck him back at the 29.
I can't believe
Laftus from the 28. Pressure. Pass. Oh, that's going to do it. Higgins somehow able to get that reception with Joshua Williams all over him.
This is Interesting to See, your daily sports podcast. News, narratives, takes, and gambling. I am Nick. Good morning. Does Joe Burrow need a nickname? We discussed this morning on First Take. Like, rate, review, subscribe if you like the show and force other people to listen to it, etc. What a great weekend of sports. I'm late this morning because I was going through all the sports, and I'm going to tell you, there were a lot of sports. Mostly football today. Going to check in on the World Cup as well, but got some college football, which I don't usually like to do on Mondays just because, whatever. NFL is so fresh, and then we have Monday Night Football, and then you can kind of go back to Saturday on Tuesday, which is convoluted and weird, but we're going to do it anyway. But in this case, we have a lot of college football to talk about. It is the most interesting part of this, so we're going to start with the highlights, and then we're going to go into some college, and then we'll do some pro recap. A lot of stuff to do today. Highlights were the Dallas Cowboys dropped 33 points in the fourth quarter against the Colts. It was a 2-point game. First play of the fourth quarter, Dallas scores a touchdown. They were in the red zone. Okay, so Indianapolis is down, 9-10 points. Then there's a scoop and score, and then the floodgates open. And the Cowboys win 54-10, 33 points in the fourth quarter is the second most in the history of the league. There are only 15 minutes in a quarter. I can't understand. It's crazy. If you would just run the ball and got a couple of timeouts, but then there were more sack fumbles, just a disaster. It was one of 3 utter ass whoopings in the NFL yesterday, right there with the Eagles beating the Titans, the Lions beating the Jaguars. Other highlights, Joe Burrow completes a first down to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. He is now undefeated against Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the league. Yes. Joe Burrow is his daddy. I don't know what to tell you. It's because the Chiefs are soft. We've been saying on this show for years. They're soft. They're a soft team, and when a hard team plays them, they lose. I mean, the Titans would have kicked their ass if they had their normal quarterback. Would have kicked their ass. They're soft. They're just a soft football team. They're hard players, but they're soft. The other highlight in there, the Jets tried their damnedest to beat the Vikings. The Vikings were hot, then they sucked. That's typical Kirk Cousins. That Jets defense is great. Mike White, 4th and 10 from about the 25, got intercepted in the end zone, which is trying to win the ball game. But, quarterbacks are more important than other positions. They just are. They are just more important. The Bengals looked great, man. I mean, I think I picked them to do stuff. I have future bets on them. But, okay, let's transition to college football. The biggest story is that Deion Sanders, the head coach of Jackson State, the historically black college in Jackson, Mississippi, who played really well, he famously got some really good recruits, including the number 1 overall recruit in college football to go there. He is taking the job at Colorado, which, of course, makes sense. If you want to move up in the world, you got to move up in the world. He addressed the team last night and essentially insinuated to them, if you know you're not good enough to play for me, you need to transfer right now because you're not going to play. Which is an interesting message. I kind of respect it. I also kind of think it's like a cocky move. It's like somehow, I kind of like it. Let's hear the metaphor.
Because I'm bringing my luggage with me, and it's Louis.
See, I'm bringing my luggage with me, and it's Louis, as in Louis Vuitton.
Okay. It ain't going to be no more of the mess that these wonderful
It ain't going to be no more of the mess that these fans and these student body deserves, which means, like, y'all fucking suck. And if you suck, be gone. Travis Hunter on Instagram Live yesterday, the number 1 recruit, said he's coming. So, said he's coming to Colorado, but we'll see how it goes. Transfer portal, that's how it works. He can just, bail. Deion wants to change the narrative and become a successful black head coach in college football. I think there have already been 4 black head coaches fired. I could be wrong. I think that he's the first black head coach to be hired. Again, could be wrong. I don't know. I think I saw that on the internet. Could verify it. But, Jeff Saturday is the head coach of the Colts. Racist. Joe Lombardi is the offensive coordinator for the Chargers. That's racism. I mean, it just is. Joe Lombardi is wasting Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, Calvin Johnson, Mike Williams, all these guys. That's racism. It is. It's implicit bias. Don't know what to tell you. Okay, more college football stuff. There's so many scandals and controversies. The first thing is that after the SEC championship and after TCU loses by 1 fucking point in the Big 12 championship to a team that they had already beaten on the year, Nick Saban then all of a sudden randomly appears at halftime of the Big 10 championship game and makes an argument for why Alabama should be in the college football playoff with a sad salesman.
And what I would say to the committee or anyone else is if we played any of these teams that are on the edge or getting in, would we be the underdog or would we be the favorite?
Dude, I don't know, but you were the favorite against Tennessee, bitch. You were the favorite against Tennessee. Actually, I don't know if that's true. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You lost to LSU. You lost to Tennessee. Get the fuck out of here. And you basically lost to Texas and Ole Miss also, by the way. You essentially lost to Texas, who TCU beat. They have a common opponent. TCU deserves to be in. They have a common opponent. And if the quarterback, who's the best quarterback in college football, by the way, Bryce Young's the best quarterback in college football, but Quinn Ewers is the second best quarterback in college football. Quinn Ewers. If that guy doesn't get hurt in the second play of the game, Texas beats Bama, probably by a lot. Bama is a 4 or 5 loss team this year, but they have the best player in the country who is able to save their asses except for against a couple teams. Man, what a sad thing. What a weird thing to genuinely look into the camera on the Big Ten championship on Fox. By the way, TCU didn't do that. What are we doing here? So weird and stupid. Unbelievable. I did enjoy the SEC championship game. The quarterback for LSU got hurt, and when he can't run, he wasn't very effective, and then he could barely stand. Brian Kelly with SEC recruits. I remember when this hire happened, and we made fun of him. Everyone made fun of him, but I knew. I think I told people like this. All Notre Dame needed was 4 SEC guys every year, just and not even 4, not even 5-star guys, just SEC dudes, just ballers. And holy shit, they're gonna be good. That quarterback, that backup quarterback, has a rocket. I don't think he's got to be someone's kid, right? Nussmeier. Anyway, if you watch the game, LSU's got a backup quarterback that's going to be great, but Georgia annihilated them. Georgia is the best team in college football. I'm going to say this, and I mean it. If TCU, Ohio State, Michigan put an all-star team together, I don't think they'd beat Georgia. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think that they would beat Georgia. I don't think so. They might. They definitely maybe might, but I don't think that they would. And this Georgia team is not as good as last year's Georgia team, which kind of puts some things into perspective for you. So after TCU lost the Big 12 championships, pardon me, the quarterback Max Duggan, who willed the team down the field, cried. He was I feel like I let everybody down. He was very hurt. He was limping and stuff. And then on the 2-point conversion that TCU needed to tie the game, or whatever it was, they decided to call a handoff out of shotgun. And you're like, oh, so this clearly best player that did all of the work, we're just going to hand it to the running back now? Yeah, that's what they did. So this is what he had to say after the game.
Through and this program's been through over the past few years, how much you love this school. What would it mean to get to bring TCU to the playoff?
Yeah, just, a lot of pride, I think, for our fan base, for our team, if we were able to do that,
Yeah, so he's crying. And then we have a controversy because Caleb Williams, who essentially had the same narrative except got his ass kicked by Utah on Friday night, the quarterback of USC, he then kind of made fun of Duggan on Twitter. And, of course, the internet was immediately like, hey, bud, here's a bunch of screenshots of you crying. And when I say internet, I mean highly publicized, verified accounts. Verified accounts were like, dude, what you doing? Why are you making fun of your boys? Some petty wars in college football. And am I here for it? I don't know. I think it's childish. I think it's funny. but it is ultimately stupid. And, of course, USC got annihilated by Utah. They're a soft team. Utah's a hard team. Hard teams beat soft teams sometimes. If you're a good team but a soft team and you play a hard team, you can beat them if they're not good. But if you play a good hard team, you'll lose to them. Good hard teams don't win any championships, excluding Georgia and Alabama. There. Those are the rules. I mean, this is a simple – college football is a simple game to understand. Michigan is a good hard team. They beat good soft teams. Okay? Then when they play a good hard team that is harder than them, they will get beat. Because that team is good. Good, soft, and hard. This is the combination. Just follow along, folks. Okay, that's – plenty more to get to in college football, including the absolute scandal. You know what? We'll do it today. Screw it. The scandal of the Dr. Pepper halftime show. Aghast. So, there's that stupid challenge where those people shovel past the footballs into the hole with Dr. Pepper and they win a scholarship. These two girls were going at it. I don't know their names. It doesn't matter. One's black and one white. That does matter to me. We'll talk about that in a second. They do the thing. They tie. Everyone's like, yeah, this is funny. They go to overtime, which is half the time. If 30 seconds to put as many balls in the hole as you can. Overtime, 15 seconds. They tie again, but Dr. Pepper awards it to one of the girls who won a third tiebreaker behind closed doors. That girl was white, just saying. She wins a tiebreaker behind closed doors. Everyone agrees to this, and immediately the internet is like, you motherfuckers. A $1 billion corporation who makes this money getting Americans addicted to sugar that will ruin their lives. And you can only hand out one $100,000 scholarship to the people in this game. Remember, they do this little halftime shtick at every one of these championship games. It's great advertisement. It's kind of a tradition. It's funny. And they're like, yeah, we don't have time for two tiebreakers, which is true. There's a football game to be played. But they're like, yeah, we actually did rock, paper, scissors behind closed doors. And so this chick gets it. It's $100,000, you assholes. I have no idea what they're paying to get on the field for fucking halftime, but it's not $100K, I can promise you that. On prime time. Big Ten Championship, SEC Championship, Big 12, like the whole thing. That's why they sponsor the trophy, and they're like, yep, actually, this girl gets $100,000, you don't, even though you tied. So the internet obviously was like ablaze. And also, by the way, the crowd booed loudly. They had to, if you watch the broadcast back, and you'd have to DVR it. Maybe I'll find the clip on the internet. If you watch the clip back, you can hear the TV control truck switch off the Nat Sound mic. The Nat Sound mic are a network of microphones that are around and outside the booth to get crowd shots, and then they have Nat Sound mics on the field. They do soccer. International soccer is really great at this. If you ever hear like the thump or the thud of them kicking a corner kick, it's because they have a mic right there. You can see it on the broadcast. They want that sound to come through. So there's a guy in a truck sliding up the slider on that mic after they kick the ball and sliding it back down. Right? You can hear them slide down the Nat Sound booing. Those guys were booed aggressively. I'm sure there are clips on TikTok. I'll find it. So then the internet is like, you capitalist pieces of shit. And so at halftime, so then during the broadcast, I'm going to find the clip. I'm going to find it. Where is it? I will find it. During the broadcast, everyone was like, hey, you jack-offs. I can't believe you, and by the way, you screwed the black girl who allegedly lost the tiebreaker that no one can confirm because you did it before the game or whatever. Get fucked. So the entire internet bullied them out of it, and of course, they did the right thing. They did the correct thing. And that thing was to award scholarships to both girls. I want to find the clip. Here it is. Let's listen.
Jenny, for an update on our Dr. Pepper throw at halftime.
Well, you all saw the unprecedented double tie of the Dr. Pepper halftime tuition giveaway. We've just been told by Dr. Pepper that they are going to award both finalists $100,000. So both Kayla Gibson and Reagan Whitaker are taking home $100K. Congratulations, ladies, and great job by Dr.
Thank you for your service. I mean, what a fine organization. Yeah. Twitter, people on Twitter are rarely, essentially never united. Like never. Never. They're never united. They were united on this and they bullied. Like this is just proof that we can do whatever we want as a society as long as we agree on stuff. I think that might have isolated the problem there. Okay, NFL football. Let's go through some stuff. Well, let's do some World Cup and then we'll finish with NFL. I'm going to keep you guys Waited with bating breath. The United States lost to the Netherlands. The Netherlands are good. The United States can never catch a break in these stupid World Cups. Last time that we were in the World Cup, which is like 50 years ago, we were playing Portugal and Germany, got through that group. This group was pretty tough. And then we draw the Netherlands, one of the favorites, with like the best player in the world in Virgil van Dijk. And guess what? He's super good. And our coach is super shitty. The United States scored 3 goals in 4 games. They did make an effort. It is what it is. Argentina beat Australia in the round of 16. Australia, you also have a gripe. Should have won your group. USA should have won your group. USA probably could have. Maybe won it. They would have had to smoke Wales. But the Aussies drew the favorite. The United States had one of the favorites. The Aussies drew the favorite. And I'll be honest with you. Leo Messi and his boys, pretty good. Pretty good at ball. Yeah, Australia, they got screwed too because they were in the group with France. It's going to be France or England this time around. The English look good. They beat Senegal 3-0. Harry Kane. I think the English are going to win the World Cup. Brazil, South Korea, Japan, Croatia today. As far as storylines go, we're running out of them. All of the favorites are going to be there. Morocco beating Spain would be pretty sick. Japan or Korea beating South Korea or South Korea beating Brazil would be pretty sick. But other than that, I mean, the Euros are going to win, and the Latin Americans are once again going to be down to Brazil and Argentina, which makes sense. Populated, they're very good. Some of the best players in the world. Okay, now let's get to some NFL football. Jesus. Monday Night Football game tonight is the Saints-Bucks. Who cares? I kind of care because it's going to be football, but it's going to be a joke. Andy Dalton versus old man Tom Brady. It's just one of those things where, like, we got to do it. We got to get through it. I remember very clearly watching one of my favorite stand-up comedians, Ricky Gervais. Well, he was, but I like watching him host the Golden Globes because he's so mean to the stars. I remember the Golden Globes, he starts the broadcast and he says, only 3 hours, we can do it. It's only 3 fucking hours, we can do it. I'm going to watch parts of it. I might decorate from Christmas, and I might watch the cocktail mixing show on Netflix, which is great. Okay, NFL narratives for yesterday that you need to know at your office. Number one, the number one most important narrative, we started the show with that Joey B owns Patrick Mahomes, owns him. But the Bengals have turned it around. He had appendectomy surgery in the offseason and came back 4 weeks after surgery, which is like really might have been pushing like scars and shit. Last year, he came off an ACL. The Bengals warm up in the second half, man. He's got something about him that, I mean, I swear to God, I'll put this on TikTok so I get roasted. People would be super pissed. He reminds me of not of Brady or Manning. He reminds me of Michael Jordan, where he just gets this look in his eye and is like, you ain't beating us. Unlike basketball, you can't just take the ball and be the guy. But those guys believe in it, man. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, the defense feeds off him. That crowd, they own the Chiefs. They own the Chiefs. They own the Chiefs. And it hasn't been just like random games. Last year, they played with a ton on the line. And then they played in the AFC Championship with the literal Super Bowl on the line. And now the Bengals are playing with a ton on the line. I don't know. I think the Chiefs fall in the AFC standings here, and the Bengals are going to win their division. That's the thing you need to talk about. That's the biggest narrative coming out of this. Other narratives that are fun, Commanders and Giants tie. That was LOL. So there's this weird thing where I think the Commanders are going to play the Giants twice in a row. They have Giants by Giants. Giants have Commanders something else, and then Commanders, I think is how it goes. One of those teams is playing each other twice in a row, which is funny. Deshaun Watson made his return to the NFL, and the offense didn't score a touchdown. They scored a field goal. They win 27-14 over Houston. They didn't score a touchdown. Also, it's so fucking funny how games can be just such a mess on the scoreboard, and then out of nowhere, they're a normal score. Houston's 14 points is not a normal 14 points. They scored 3 points in the first quarter, 2 points in the second quarter, 3 points in the third quarter, and 6 points in the fourth quarter. Houston held Cleveland back defensively, which is really great. The Texans suck. They're very bad, but the Browns suck too. They're 5-7 on the season, 8% chance to make the playoffs. I think that's not going to happen. Other narratives, we'll just pound through some for you here. The Eagles are insanely good. The Titans are, remember, they're a hard team, but the Eagles are a hard team and a good team. See, follow the rules. Jets are better with Mike White, no doubt about it. Justin Fields is an insanely good runner of the football and very talented. But the Packers come back to beat the Bears. He throws a back-breaking interception. The Broncos are a disaster. The Ravens look like they lost Lamar Jackson. Who knows how long that's going to be. They come back with backup quarterback Tyler Huntley. He is the dude from Utah about 5 years ago. He's been one of the better backups in the league for the past 3 or 4 years. He's been great. The Broncos miss a 63-yard field goal to win the game. As time expires, Russ looks like garbage. We didn't get to talk about this last week because I was traveling. His wife threw him a birthday party, and about half the team showed up. His wife is a world-famous celebrity, and no one came. No one cares. Everyone hates him. The other narrative, Raiders beat the Chargers. It's time for Brandon Staley to go. And the Niners and Dolphins, one of the games of the weekend. Yeah, Daddy's still in charge. Daddy, Kyle Shanahan beats his babies, which is really important because Jimmy Garoppolo, the backup quarterback this year, also broke his foot. So now they are playing Mr. Irrelevant, the last man drafted a couple of drafts ago, Brock Purdy, which I don't know where he played college football, but it had to be Oklahoma State or Baylor. I mean, his name is Brock Purdy. It had to be, right? I don't know where he played. I'll look it up. Tua Tagovailoa played like ass. Well, he played okay. Niners beat the Dolphins 33-17, and wow, what a weekend in sports. I'm exhausted, guys. I am utterly exhausted. Remember that lightning strike that hit Drew Brees that broke the internet for 2 hours? Yeah, it was fake. And now Drew Brees is getting called out by a Lightning Strike Survivors Association. People thought that shit was real. And the Lightning Strike survivors who have an association were like, you're hurting our image. No, lightning hurt your image. See you tomorrow.